Hare Krishna, dear devotees, welcome for discussion on chapter 15 of this Gita Gyan program. So today is January 9th, 2015. Okay, so today we gathered here to discuss on chapter 15 of Bhagavad Gita. So before we do our program, let's do our invocation prayer. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam yena tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapidam yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swa Padantikam. Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Uta Padakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagar Jadam Shahagana Raghunathan Vidam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savaduta Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakan Vidamscha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimati Jayapataka Swaminiti Namine Namacharya Padaya Nitai Kripa Pradayine Gaurakada Damadaya Nagaragrama Tarine Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pasa Charistarine Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Namine Shri Varshabhanavire Vidaitai Kripabdaye Krishna Sambandha Viknanadaine Prabhave Namaha Madhuryo Jola Premadya Sri Rupanuga Bhaktira Shri Gaura Karuna Shakti Vigrahaya Namastute Namaste Gauravani Shri Murtaye Rinatarine Rupanuga Viruddha Pasidanta Dvanta Harine Namo Gaura Kishoraya Sakshat Vairagya Murtaye Vipralambara Sambodhe Padam Pujayate Namaha Namo Bhakti Vinodaya Sachidananda Namine Gaura Shakti Swarupaya Rupanuga Varayate Gaura Virbhava Bhumistam Nidasa Sajjana Priya Vaishnava Sarubhauma Sri Jagannatayate Namaha Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubheva Paditanam Pavinibhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Om Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Garatase Namaha Panchatattvatmakam Krishnam Bhakta Rupa Swarupakam Bhaktavadaram Bhaktakyam Namami Bhakta Shaktikam He Krishna Karuna Sindhodina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanustute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shiva Shari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswati Vyasam Tato Jayam Girai Nasta Prayesu Abhadresu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavate Uttama Shloke Bhakti Bhavati Naishtikri Hari Om Tat Sat. Hare Krishna. So today we have gathered here to discuss on chapter 15. All right, just a quick recap about what we have learned in chapter 14 yesterday.
Thank you very much.
Okay. So yesterday we have discussed about the three modes of material nature. All right. So what is that mode? The mode of goodness, the mode of passion, and the mode of ignorance. And Krishna explained about what is that thing, those who are in a mode of goodness, they are usually very pious. The mode of passion, they are always miserable. And the mode of ignorance is people usually are foolish. Okay. So we went through that. It's a very interesting. It's called pradhana, unmanifested modes. Okay. So then, what do you call? So we have discussed that. Of course, there's a certain things that we have seen. Those who hate illumination, attachment, delusion, present, longing for things when they disappear and everything, which looks like it is not possible, all right, for normal human being to practice. But after that, in text 26, Krishna says, one who engage in full devotional service. Full devotional service means, that means you completely performing a devotional service, by trying to purify your mind and intelligence, by chanting the holy name, also by studying the Bhagavad Gita, and unfailing in all circumstances. That means no matter what, you will never fail to not to chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, and also not to fail to not to read Bhagavad Gita. So when these things happen at once, the person transcends the modes of material nature. So he come out of these three modes of material nature, and he comes to the level of Brahman. All right, level of Brahman means in the pure spiritual consciousness. Okay. So with that reflection, so what we do, we okay, let me get the thing. Okay. So in that consciousness, so let's start our Gita Gyan program, chapter 15, proudly presented by ISKCON Malaysia in collaboration with ISKCON Ipoh Bhakti Yoga Center. So let's take darshan from Sri Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu. Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratase Namaha. Sri Sri Radha Madhava. So beautiful. And Sri Sri Krishna Balaram. Okay. So today we dedicate this program to His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Founder Acharya of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. And this program is inspired by His Holiness Jayapataka Swami, Guru Maharaj, GBC and Spiritual Master. And I also dedicate this program to His Grace Anadi Jagannath Prabhu of Bangalore ISKCON Sheshadipuram, the creator and the brainchild of the Essence of Gita program worldwide. So let's look at today's Mahatmya. So today's Mahatmya is very interesting Mahatmya. Abhicharodbhavam dukkham varashapagatan yat nopasarpati tatraiva yatra gitar chanang grihe. The sorrow caused by terrible curse of black rites can never enter the home where the Gita is worshipped. All right. So my dear devotees, so wow, how we can reflect on this. So here in this Mahatmya is a very straightforward instruction, and also it is an assurance to all of us. Okay, Abhicharam. Abhicharam means all inauspicious thing. All inauspicious thing. Okay, Bhava. Bhava means the mode. Dukkham. Dukkham means suffering. Okay, it's suffering. So, Vara Shapagatan Chaya. Napo Sarpati Tatraiva. Yatra Gitar Chanam Grihe. Yatra means place of pilgrimage or worship. Gitar Chanam. All right, where the Gita is worshipped. So now we are all some or other in this kind of material condition, and we have these three kinds of karma. Okay, first is prarabdha sanchari karma, prarabdha karma. Then the third one is what is the name? Can anyone tell me what is the third karma? Just give me a second. Let me check it out. There's three types of karma. Yeah, what is that?
Prabhu, Kriya Karma, Prabhu.
Kriya karma. Yes. So Kriya karma. So that means we have these three types of karma. Okay, three types of karma. So what is first karma? Sanchari karma. See, we have taken birth in this material world for the last millions and trillions of years. Okay, we have studied about how Brahma has a life of 100 years, which is around 344 trillion human years. All right, 430 over trillion, if I'm not mistaken. Yes. So years, and Brahma, that means one kalpa, then in the 12 hours, and 2 kalpa means the 24 hours of Brahma. So one kalpa is 1000 rounds of Chatur Yuga. What is Chatur Yuga? Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapara Yuga, and Kali Yuga. That's one round. Okay, like that 1000 times. It is 12 hours of Brahma. So 24 hours, imagine. So like that, we have passed through. So even we have passed through millions of Brahma. Okay, we are not only went through this one particular Brahma. Like that, we have passed through millions of Brahmas. Okay, so that's why Prabhupada simply quote the word. What quote the words? What he said? Immemorial, time immemorial. We don't know for how many yugas we were roaming around in this material world. So every birth that we take, we have get some new experience. So new experience means new karma. So new karma, whether good or bad, we have been accumulating it. Okay. Any good things we do, we're going to enjoy it. Any bad things we do, we're going to suffer the consequences. All right. So like that, for millions of births we have taken, that we have passed through, this called sanchari karma. All right. The karma that is as even bigger than Mount Meru. You know, they say if you fast on Ekadasi, all right, if you fast on Ekadasi, you're seen as big as Mount Meru. Okay, Mount Meru is the mount that holds the entire creation, the material universe. Okay, as tall as the Mount Meru will be destroyed in an eye blink. Can you imagine? So that means even though when we fast on already, so it's in an eye blink, the entire karma of Mount Meru can be destroyed. So is that mean that we are out of karma? No. Our karma is innumerable. It's huge. All right. Just like how first there is a dirt, and the dirt is compressed. So there's some little dirt. So and on top of that, there'll be more layer and layer of dirt. So the dirt inside become more compressed. And after further compression, the dirt will turn into carbon. All right. And after further compression, after millions of years, and the carbon turns into diamond. All right. So like that. So that means we have a huge mountain of karma, and we are at the bottom, whereby our karma and our existence in this material world has been crystallized. So formerly we just came as a dirt. Then after that, after compression, we turn into carbon, and now has turned into diamond. So diamond cannot be cut into pieces. All right, because it's the hardest stone. It's a very hard stone, so you can't cut. So it takes another diamond to cut it. That's why sometimes we need another person in the form of a human being. That means the Krishna come in the form of a guru to deliver a human being. That means it takes a diamond to cut another diamond. So we have accumulated so much of karma. So all the things, sanchari, is impossible to be destroyed. All right. Then, and in that season, we might have got a curse from someone and everything. Then, okay, so once we have taken birth in this material world, so there's another thing called prarabdha karma. Prarabdha karma means, that means the sanchari karma is like a huge reservoir. Then a portion of it taken and put into a go down, right? Put into a big go down, right? And that is a place where the prarabdha karma is kept. Okay. So in this particular birth, what are the consequences that you're going to suffer? From the day you born till the day that you're going to die, what are the consequences of you're going to receive? It's just taken a portion of it and put into this prarabdha karma. So in other words, just for an easy understanding, I'll just draw it like this for your understanding. So number one, where shall I draw? Okay, this is huge. Okay, this is called sanchari karma. Okay, sanchari karma. And there's a funnel. Okay, there's a funnel here. All right, all the karmas. Then secondly, there's another second funnel here. Okay, this is called prarabdha karma. Okay, so all the things that has been created here, all right, all the things. So whenever this thing becomes empty, okay, whenever this thing becomes empty, the second funnel becomes empty. All right, it's become empty. So what happened? The karma, the sanchari karma will drop again here. So it keep filling up. You understand? It keep filling up. So it still gets fills up. Okay. So this is the thing, that what are the consequences we're going to suffer, secondly. And the third one is you here. They call this as what they call kriya karma. Yes, kriya karma, right? Yes, Aman?
Yeah, Prabhu. Yeah, Prabhu.
Yeah, kriya karma. So the kriya karma is what you are suffering or enjoying now. Okay, enjoying now. So we can say that prarabdha karma is our astrological chart, our Rasi Nakshatra, and Lakna, and this kriya karma. Okay, and this is something that you can see in your palm. What are the things that you're going to suffer? Okay, So what are the things that you are prepared to suffer? So that means all the sufferings, that means we have gone through some terrible curse and all these kind of things that in our life. Who knows, in my previous birth, I should be a Japanese soldier who cut off, people say it. Who knows, in 2-3 births before, I should have killed a cow. And who knows that a few births before, I have raped a woman, or I should have incurred abortion. I should have created abortion situation, or I should be a doctor that I created so many abortion. So all that bad karmas all are kept in this place called prarabdha karma. All right, prarabdha karma. So it is impossible to get rid of all this prarabdha karma. Okay, so that means once we start to finish up this thing, it'll keep dropping down. Finish up, it keep dropping down, and somehow we suffer the consequences. Okay, so when we have these 3 types of karma, so how are we going to this thing? Okay, so that's why Krishna says here, abhicharam. Abhicharam means all the sorrow, all that inauspicious thing. Okay, the sorrow caused by terrible curse. That means we should have gone terrible curse, or maybe in this particular birth we had our forefathers should have cursed. Maybe we might have not done their kriya ceremony. I mean, when a person passed away, we have to do a proper ceremony. We might have not do. So the forefathers should have cursed. So there are a lot of things are there. Okay, terrible curse. And secondly is black rites. Black rites means black magic. So when someone just create a black magic, see you are very successful, they create some kind of black magic, they cast upon you. So the black magic comes to you, you suffer. So in order to get rid of prarabdha karma and especially the kutta karma, because that's what we are suffering now, we always go to this Ganga, Yamuna, we take a dip, we do all kind of auspicious ritual. We do a lot of rituals. We do a lot of food for life and all. Just go ahead, just think about anything. All right. We're trying to purify ourselves so that we don't suffer. But we forgot, once our kutta karma is, kriya karma is cleared, the prarabdha karma will keep dropping in. It will add on. All right. And the prarabdha karma is in the form of a seed. Okay. In the form of a seed. So the seed will fructify. All right. Once the seed fructify, then after that, it start to produce the fruit. And that's when we suffer the consequences. Okay. So now, so in here it says, all whatever back sorrow that caused by terrible curse of black rites, okay, can never enter the home where the Gita is worshipped. So if you think you want to protect yourself against all these kind of terrible things, right? We do not need to go to put a talisman around our neck, around our hand. We don't need to like think about, protection. Sometimes they put the face, the demon face in front of the house, protection. They put a mirror in front, protection. All that are not necessary. Simply worship your Bhagavad Gita in your house. All these nonsense things will never come and attack you. Okay. Every time that we chant Hare Krishna and we read Bhagavad Gita, our prarabdha karma is getting destroyed. So how much, if you're going to do it on a daily basis, you can see your sanchari karma start to what's the word in English? In Malay, we call hakisan. In English, what we call? Will start to erode. All right, it start to erode. So it start to crack. You start to like this thing. So that's why every day when we chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantra and we worship the Bhagavad Gita, we keep the Bhagavad Gita and make a point that every morning after your prayer, just take the Bhagavad Gita, put in your chest and just give a hug and just pray to Bhagavad Gita. Please protect me from nations. Nations means ignorance. Please protect me from ignorance. Please protect me from being carried away with this flow of material world. Okay, because all these terrible curse and black rites and all the black magics, protection against ghost, spirit, hobgoblins, and all these things are by default are given to you. So you do not need to specifically pray for that. Please protect me from this black curse. Please protect me from the curse. Sometimes when you look at our astrological chart, this is called Pitur Dosam. Pitur Dosam means we have offended our forefathers and we have been cursed. So that's dosha. Pitur dosha means the curse of the forefathers. All right. And a kanni dosha, the curse by a virgin girl. Like that, there is a lot of things happen. We might have not known, right? So sometimes in the survival of fetus, when we need to survive, we might have done something, we should have created some inauspicious thing. And sometimes we might have cursed others. Remember the word that you utter, it is actually come out from your mouth, enters into your ears, goes to your mind, satisfy the mind, and the mind will send the information to the intelligence. The intelligence feels satisfied, and the false ego will start to create a kind of satisfaction. You start to feel good about it. But you've forgotten the curse or whatever things that you are casting upon people. It is actually coming from your mouth, entering your ears, and is dwelling in you. Whether the curse has been imposed, whether the curse have reached that floor or not, but whenever we start cursing, we start to say something very bad about people. Actually, it is actually coming to you, right? Or says, oh, this flow is like that. Oh, I feel so good about it talking about him. I still feel so good about talking someone, but actually we are cursing ourselves. All right. Therefore, that's why it's very, very important. So if you just in a nectar of instruction, vacho vegam, manasa krodha vegam, vacho. Okay, first thing we have to control is the urge of speech. Urge of speech. Another thing also, the analogy that Prabhupada gives there is like a toad. The toad is croaking at night after the rain. So when the thing is croaking, what actually is inviting? It's inviting the snake. The snake realizes, there's a dinner for me there. Why? They are croaking. Oh yeah, they go and catch them. Because of the tongue, because of the urge of speech, they die. Similarly, human being, when they're going to talk nonsense, when they're going to talk something which is so irrelevant, actually we are inviting death. We are inviting death to come to us quickly. All right. So all these things. So that's why we have to be very careful. So the urge of speech, you can utilize it. You just speak what is necessary. Other than that, you just utilize your tongue just to chant the holy name of the Lord. Let the Lord come and dance in your tongue. When you start to dance on your tongue becomes purified. You must understand everything in a straight line. Your tongue, your mind, your belly, and your genital in a straight line. So purify your tongue, everything get purified. That's why we say, if you think that you can't give up eating meat, going for intoxication, you can, it's just okay, it doesn't matter, right? That is immaterial. But when you're going to start chanting Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, once you get a higher taste, when Krishna start to dance in your tongue, all these inauspicious things will just leave by itself. You do not need to force upon it. You don't need to like forcefully try to think, go get a patch. You know, if you're a smoker, get a patch. You are trying to go for this. No, not necessary. Just chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Chant without any expectation. Just chant. Just vibrate in your tongue. Listen in your ears and let the mind just capture it. That's it. You don't even need to look at any object. You do not need to sit and meditate. You just say, and there's no rules and regulation. You can even lie down. You can do whatever situation. All right. In any situation, you just simply utter the name of Krishna. And after that, keep Bhagavad Gita very near to your heart, close to your heart, and worship Bhagavad Gita with full of this. You start to see all these kind of sorrows will start to dissipate. All right. Because Krishna says, I am Bhagavad Gita. All right, I live in Bhagavad Gita, and Bhagavad Gita is my abode, is my shelter. So if he says that Bhagavad Gita is my abode, where do Krishna lives? Krishna lives in Goloka Vrindavan, and Krishna lives in Vaikuntha Loka. So that means this Bhagavad Gita is Vaikuntha. Vaikuntha means the place where the misery, there's no misery. So when we're going to study Bhagavad Gita daily, so actually we are getting rid of all that anarthas or unwanted desires and all these things. And so the Bhagavad Gita is actually Vaikuntha. The Bhagavad Gita is actually Goloka Vrindavan. All right. So because that's what Krishna says. I'm not speculating, right? We have studied there before. So Bhagavad Gita is my abode. I live in Bhagavad Gita. And with the understanding of Bhagavad Gita, I maintain the entire universe. So imagine. So when Krishna says that, so when you are keeping Bhagavad Gita in your house, it is illumination. When there's light, there's no darkness. Isn't that common sense? Right? When there's no sun, there's dark. When the sun arrives, when the sun arises, it looks like the darkness simply disappear and don't know where it gone. It just doesn't appear. So when the sun set, the darkness will just come. When the sun rises, it disappears. So Bhagavad Gita is actually the sun, right? The illumination of the sun. Like Srimad Bhagavatam is also illumination of the sun. So when you have Bhagavad Gita at home, you worship the Bhagavad Gita, and when you study the Bhagavad Gita, you start to see it's a sunrise in your life. That's why I'm saying, distribute Bhagavad Gita. Go and install Bhagavad Gita in everyone's house. Whether they read or don't read, just keep that Bhagavad Gita. Just encourage people to own a Bhagavad Gita, because the Bhagavad Gita, somehow or other, will illuminate the light. It's an amazing book, I'm telling you. Because sometimes I have seen, like recently my cousins came down from New Zealand. I was telling them, I told my aunt, do you know that first Bhagavad Gita in my life, I gave it to you. My first Bhagavad Gita, when I got it in 1993, 94, I gave it to you. And that's the edition. No, I still miss that book because that was my first Bhagavad Gita in my life. And she said, yes, I'm still keeping it and I'm reading it even though I don't understand. So even though she don't understand, she's reading it. She's a Western bodied, she's an Irish bodied lady. All right. When the sons came, when the daughters came with the son-in-law, my both son-in-laws, my both brother-in-law, one fellow is a Scottish, another fellow is a English Scottish, then another fellow is what from Denmark. Holland, Dutch. He's a Dutch. When both of them came and they saw the altar, and they became so curious, they asked about all these things. And eventually I said, I like to give you a Bhagavad Gita. Yes, please, I would like to have one. All right, they taken the Bhagavad Gita. So what happened? So the effect of them keeping the Bhagavad Gita in the house, even though despite they're eating beef and all these things, but still the Bhagavad Gita, I'm not surprised one day both my brother-in-laws, my cousin sisters definitely will become a devotee because I've seen it in my own experience. That's why installing a Bhagavad Gita in somebody's house, you are doing a great favor. We studied that in chapter 18. All right. So with that meditation, let's start our session. So again, as I said, Abhichorat Bhavam Dukkham, the sorrow caused by terrible curse, black magic or whatever, can never enter the home where the Gita is worshipped. So it's a kind of huge protection. Take the Gita wherever you go, keep the Gita and make Gita as your lifestyle. Okay, let's look at this understanding of Gita here. The destination is called Sanatan Sky. Okay, the destination. So what is our ultimate destination that we are all looking forward? Is called Sanatana Sky. Sanatana means eternal. All right, eternal spiritual sky. All right, remember that we have spoke about it. And I draw the thing. First is Goloka Vrindavan. There's a spiritual sky where all the Vaikuntha Lokas are there. I hope you all remember that. If not, please go back and refer to the video. So, yat gatvana nivartante tat dama paramang mama. In this material world, we find that everything is temporary, right? Everything in this material world is so temporary. Everything is temporary. Anything, just name it. Once upon a time, my grandfather was such a big time millionaire. He had a big time. He had 30 workers. We have our own servants. Even I got my personal. There was a guy who took care of me personally. There was a lady servant and also the man who always take me to school like that. But what happened to all of them now? All disappeared, all gone. Right? All that fortune that my grandfather have made and everything is gone. After we declared bankrupt and all this, everything is taken away. So what happened? My grandfather worked so hard day and night. What happened to all these things today? Gone. All right. In fact, the property in India and all these things is all like some or other gone. So that's what I'm saying. So everything in this world is temporary. Of course, you all have experienced that also, right? It comes into being. First, it comes into being. Then after that, it stays for some time. Okay. And it produces some byproduct. Then dwindles. That means you get sick and everything. Then they vanish. All right. Example, like ourselves. First, we came into being. We were born. We stay here for some time, maybe 70 years, 60 years, 50 years, 80 years. Then while we are living here, we produce some byproduct. We produce our own children and the children will produce their children like that. Then after that dwindles, then we start to fall sick and everything. Then eventually we vanish, we die. We are gone, right? So this is the law of material nature. This is the law of the material nature. Whether we use as an example of this body or a piece of fruit of anything. But beyond this temporary world, that means beyond this temporary world, there is another world which we have information. All right, that we have information that's beyond this thing. And the word consists of another nature, which is Sanatan or eternal. Okay. The Jiva also described as Sanatan. Okay, that means the Jiva, that means you and I also call Sanatan because we are also eternal. And the Lord described as Sanatan in the 11th chapter. We have an intimate relation. That means we have an intimate relationship with the Lord. Okay, what does this mean? So that means you may think, what kind of relationship I got? Oh, there's some devotees, I think they are more closer to Krishna. They go more. No, you and I have an intimate relationship with the Lord. We don't know what is our relationship. Intimate relationship means what? You are very dear and close to the Lord. Very intimate. All right. It is just not a friend. It is not a best friend. It's an intimate friend. Intimate means you personally part of him. Who knows that you are the Gopal that Krishna hugs you every day? Who knows that you are the Venu? That means you are the flute where Krishna keeps you in his lips when he blows. Who knows that you are the peacock feather that always adorn the turban of Krishna. And who knows that you are the gopis who always dances with Krishna? And who knows that you are the mothers who always cook and care for Krishna? Nobody knows. But that means, in other words, you have an intimate relationship. It is not an ordinary, random relationship. You have the intimate relationship with the Lord. Okay? And because, the another example Prabhupada is given, because we are qualitatively one. By quality, you and I and Krishna are one. By quality. All right? So quality. But of course, when we say that we are by qualitatively we are one, it doesn't mean that I am Krishna, you are Krishna. That's when we are asking for trouble. Qualitatively one means Krishna is Satchit Ananda Vigraha. Sat means eternal, Chit means knowledge, Ananda Vigraha means beautiful form. And we are also Satchit Ananda Vigraha. We are eternal Sat, we have Chit, that means we are full of knowledge, and we also have that Ananda Vigraha, the beautiful body, just like Krishna. Right? But the quantity, we are minute. The sea and the drop of the ocean and the drop of seawater, quality both are same, but quantity is so much different, right? It cannot be perceived. A vast ocean with a drop of seawater is huge different. All right. So we have that qualitatively one. All right. So like somebody, discussing, I was contemplating. I was thinking, if we go back home, back to Godhead, to Goloka, Vrindavan, our life will become very boring. All right. What are the entertainment that we're going to have? What is this? Just imagine everything that you're going through now in this material world. If you get a chance, do you like to live forever? You know, if you're given a boon, I would like to live here forever. I want to stay here eternally. Right? There's eternity, because we know that some or other, if our life is boring, our life is exciting or whatever it is, we still don't want to die and we want to remain here forever. So the same thing you can see in Goloka Vrindavan. The difference is here is shadow. Even in shadow itself, it's so exciting. But imagine when you go to the reality, it is even more beyond your conception. All right. There's few kinds of moksha. All right. One of the moksha is called Swarupa Moksha. Swarupa Moksha means, say like for instance, if you qualify to go back home to Vaikuntha Loka, what happened? When you want to go to Vaikuntha Loka, you give up this material body. In your subtle body, you'll travel to the core, to come to that the what they call the river. You know what river is that? Can anyone recall the river? Vraja, river Vraja, right? Viraja. Okay, river Viraja. Okay, the hell is Vaitran. It's Viraja. Okay, the river Viraja. The river is the one that the border between the material world and also the spiritual world, where the Lord Narayana stay there as Karnadakshayi. All right. So in Viraja River, once you go there, once we travel, you know that we are traveling this in this Garuda Airlines, Garuda plane. You know, when you get moksha, you're going back home, back to Godhead. You go to Viraja. So once you go to Viraja, you take a bath. Once you take a bath, you give up your subtle body, give up everything. Once you come up, you come to your original body. All right. And that is Swarupa Moksha means you'll start to have a form like Lord Vishnu. You have a bluish form with 4 arms, with all the paraphernalia that Lord Vishnu has, you also have it. That is if you go to Vaikuntha Loka. But if you go to Goloka Vrindavan, it's totally a different thing. All right. So that means we come back into that. That means we are qualitatively one. Okay. But that doesn't mean I'm Narayana. Okay. You must be very careful with that. So qualitatively one, that's why we have an intimate relationship with the Lord. All right. So that means, so qualitative one, that means the Sanatan Dham, Sanatana Supreme Personality, and Sanatan living entities. The whole purpose of Bhagavad Gita. So that means now Krishna Prabhupada is explaining the whole purpose of Bhagavad Gita is to revive our Sanatana occupation. Okay, our eternal occupation, or Sanatana Dharma. So Sanatana Dharma is what we all think is Hinduism, and I say, no, it's not. Hinduism, Christianity, and Islam and all these things are still materially motivated terminology. Right? I'm into this kind of thing, so therefore I'm called as Hindu. Then after that, I find I need to have some government contract and all these things. I better convert to Islam. So I just convert to Islam. Right? Then after I become Islam, then after that, I got some contacts and everything, and I get migrate to overseas. And of course, in certain country, they say, I cannot accept your religion to come into this country. So I convert to Christian. So that means my conversion into one dharma to another dharma, it's according to my convenience, how convenient I am. what I want to achieve in life, I simply change. All right. That is not Sanatana. So Sanatana Dharma. Sanatana means eternal occupation. All right. So eternal occupation. That means our eternal occupation is that we are servant of the Supreme Personality of God. So being a servant of Supreme Personality means it is not that you are serving him with what they call that means like not like the servant that we see in this material world. All right. There, the servant means you are associate of Krishna. All right. You are just like serving each other. You serve Krishna, Krishna serves you, and you've got a beautiful life. All right. So then we have to revive our Sanatana occupation, our eternal occupation. Okay. Which is the eternal occupation of the living entity. We are temporarily engaged in different activities. So now whatever activities that is, which is a temporary manifestation. Temporarily, we are engaged in all different kinds of activity, but all these activities can be purified. Okay, can be purified when we give up all these temporary activities and take up the activities that prescribed by the Supreme Lord. So what is that? So even that we are performing this temporary activity like going to work, because when you go to work, how long can you work? Maybe 55, 60, 65? Eventually you can't work forever. So it's temporary. So what Krishna says, even in this temporary occupation, dedicate to. All right. So, sir, like for instance, once upon a time, I can put a banana leaf and I love to eat, right? I love to eat. And usually, you know, when they have that 16 items, wow, that's my favorite. When I see the 16 items, wow, I'll be enlightened. You know, when I go to India, some of the, you know, that's part of that, the Chettiar people, they used to have varieties of food. That's why sometimes they call Chettinad food, right? Because that's part of our this thing. So we put the thing, 16 items, and I can eat. But now, I can't eat, I only can eat a bowl of rice. That's all. But those days, wow, 16 items, right? Varieties of sweets, varieties of rice, varieties of sabjis, varieties of fried stuff. Wow, just eat and be merry. Now, eat a little also cannot digest. So it's all temporary. So what Krishna says, even the temporary, offer to me and eat. You only can eat a bowl of rice, offer it and take it as prasadam, right? Even whatever things you do, just dedicate to me. Simple as that, right? So that's what is prescribed by the Supreme Lord. So by doing this is called pure life. Okay. So with that meditation, let's start our fantastic topic, chapter 15, the yoga of the Supreme Person. 15.1. 15.1. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Urdhvamulam Adashakam Ashvatam Prahur Avyayam Chandangsi Yasya Parnani Yastam Veda Saveda Vrit. Sri Bhagavan Uvacha, the Supreme Personality said, Urdhvamulam. Urdhvamulam. Moolam means is the core. Core. That means, you know, when you say when you look at the core of suffering, they call moolam. Moolam means the core. Okay. So Urdhvamulam means the root. The root, which is the above, right? The Urdhva means is the root, because in a tree the root is the ultimate, right? Ada, downwards. Shakam, shakam means branches. Ashvatam, ashvatam means what? Ashvatam means banyan tree. Okay, they call alamaram, ashvatam, right? Avyayam, Chandangsi. Okay, so Chandangsi is the Vedic hymns. Parnani means the leaves, right? So Yastam Veda Sa Veda Virit. Yastam Veda. So those who know this is the know of the Vedas. All right. Now Krishna says in 15.1, after explaining the three modes of material nature, now he's telling the Supreme Personality of God. It is said there is an imperishable banyan tree, that banyan tree that is eternal, imperishable, that has its roots upwards and its branches down. Okay, it got a root upwards and the branch at the bottom. Okay, whose leaves are the Vedic hymns. One who knows this tree is a knower of the Vedas. Okay, when you look at this photo here, so you see the tree which is upside down. Okay, upside down. So what it says, the root is upward, all right, and the branches of the trees at the downwards. Okay, so it says all the leaves in this tree is called called the Vedic hymns, all the Vedic hymns and everything. So, and of course the trunk, and there's Lord Brahma here, and the root is upwards towards Krishna. Okay, and this analogy, Krishna says, one who knows this tree is the knower of all of the Vedas. All right. So now let's look at this imperishable banyan tree. Number one, the one that we see in material world is like this. So number one is roots. Okay, roots bound by the fruitive activity. That means we have so much of fruitive activities. We have so much of desire, all right, bound by fruitive activity. That means we are standing here just for the sake of fruitive activity. And all the leaves of the Vedic hymns. Vedic hymn means the one that the thing that is what they call like certain sastra, dharma, artha, kama, moksha. Sometimes certain rituals, right? They say you do this, you want to achieve the success, you want this, you want to get children, certain things. So all these kind of things are, the leaves are the Vedic hymns, right? And the branches are nourished by three modes of nature. So the branches are all nourished by three modes of material nature is what? Goodness, passion, and ignorance. So according to the goodness, passion, and ignorance, we are getting nourished. So we are performing these Vedic hymns. And the twigs are the sense object. The twigs of the tree is sense object. Okay, there's a sense object. And the fruit of the tree is the result of activities. So what is that result? We want, okay, I'm working so hard. So end of the month, I'm earning around 10,000 ringgit. So the 10,000 ringgit is the fruit or the result of activities. Okay. So the nourishment of the tree, as the tree is nourished by water. Okay. The tree is nourished by water. So the tree, so these trees nourished by the three modes of material nature. All right. When you see the trees are nourished by water, right? You need to pour water, the tree. But this particular tree is nourished by what? By these three modes of material nature. Okay. Sometimes we find that tract of land is barren for want of sufficient water, and sometimes a tract is very green. Similarly, where particular modes of material nature are proportionately greater in quantity, the different species of life are manifested accordingly. So what it mentioned here, so that sometimes we can see there's a barren land because there's no water, and sometimes we can see a land which is so greenish, all right, because there is enough water. All right. So that means, in other words, so all these lands and the trees are particularly nourished by proportionately greater in quality. Like example, what mode of material nature, whether it's mode of goodness is there, you act accordingly. If the mode of passion is there, you act accordingly. And the mode of ignorance is there, you act accordingly. So like that, so this is nourished, all right? So where this, the proportionally greater in quantity. So which are the quantities greater? Is it goodness, passion, ignorance? So which is greater? And it act accordingly. And through that, different species of lives are manifested. Okay. So once we are in the mode of goodness, okay, we will take a form of a human being. Once we are in the mode of passion, okay, we will be born into a place where the passion is very high, like a land of America and all these things. So once we are in the mode of ignorance, maybe we'll be born into this kind of place where there's terrible things like Sudan, all these Ethiopia and all these countries. All right. So it's all different accordingly. But now what Krishna says here, na rupam ashe tato palavyatte. Okay. So it's mentioned here, na rupam asheha tato palavyatte, nanto na chadir na cha sampratista. Ashvatam. Ashvatam means what? Just now we said, what is Ashvatam? Banyan tree. Enam su viruddha moolam asangas shastrena driddena chitva. Tata padangtat parimargitavyam yasmin gatana nivartante bhuyaha tam eva chadyam purusham prapatye yata pravirti pasirta purani. So it says that, okay. So what Krishna says, the real form of this tree cannot be perceived in this world. How the real form of this tree, okay? Like what tree is this? Like this tree. The real form of this tree cannot be perceived because we don't know how deep is our root. As I said just now, that we have this thing called Sanchari Karma. So the Sanchati means we don't know how deep where we have gone. Because we have been here for millions and trillions of years. Uncountable, innumerable. So we don't know how deep rooted. Okay. So we don't know. So we can't perceive that idea. We can't perceive the real form of this tree cannot be perceived in this world. No one can understand where it ends. Nobody can understand. And the same thing, nobody also can understand where it begins. We don't know what begins and where its foundation is. We don't know where's the foundation also. Okay. But Krishna says with determination. Okay. With determination, where is it? That means, but with determination. So that means we have to be very determined. With determination, one must cut down this strongly rooted tree. So we have to cut down this strongly rooted tree. The root is so strong, it's impossible, but with firm determination, we have to cut it down. How? Through the weapon of detachment. Okay, we have to be detached. So that means we start to understand when the detachment will come, when we start to have that understanding of the Shastra. All right, when we start to read Bhagavad Gita, then eventually you're going to read Srimad Bhagavatam and all these things, you will somehow or other will become detached. Okay, with that detachment, the weapon of detachment, we strongly cut down, because detachment means when we are attached, means we are attached to these three types of nature: goodness, passion, ignorance. When we are detached means that means we are out of these three modes of material nature, guna titi, right? Yesterday we have studied that. So we are out of this what they call this strongly rooted tree. Thereafter, after you cut down with this weapon, thereafter one must seek that place from which, having gone, one will never return. Okay, after you cut down this tree, because this tree has been our shelter all our time immemorial, we have been living here. After you cut down this strongly rooted tree, then we have to look for a place. Say, for instance, once I destroy my house, I have to look for another house. Yes or not? So I find my house is, I want to renovate my house, all right? And I find my house vastu is not good. So I demolish the entire house and to build. So once I demolish the house, I have to go look for another house. So once you cut down the strongly rooted tree, you have to go look for some other place, which once we are gone, we will never return. Because we have already got intelligent. We already know that we are here suffering time immemorial. So we want to go to the place, we don't want to return. Right? Once we are in the prison, we are staying in the prison, we just want to get out of the prison. So once we go to the prison, once we come out of the prison, we always have to make the strong conviction that I'm not going to go there anymore. Because that place is not a conducive place. It's a horrible place. All right. So I want never return. So we will never return. Okay. Oh, okay. I was thinking what the sound is. The bird is chirping. Anyway, okay. So one never return. So when you never return, so once you go there, what do you need to do? There and surrender to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So once you go there, you surrender from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Why? From whom everything began and from everything is extended since time immemorial. So we have to cut down the strongly rooted tree. Once we cut down the strongly rooted tree, we have to go and look for place that once we have to go and look for the place which is eternal. Once we go there, we will never return. And once you go there, you see the Lord, you simply surrender to him. And because from him, everything began and from him, everything extended. Okay. Now, so cut down the strongly rooted tree. Okay. With full determination, with weapon of detachment. Once you're detached, you just cut it down. Okay. Ham sarvasva prabhavo. I am the origin of everything. Therefore, to get out of this entanglement of the strong banyan tree of material life, one must surrender to Krishna. Again, aham sarvasya prabhavo. Which verse is this? Can anyone recall? Aham sarvasya prabhavo. Can anybody recall? Kesavan, any idea? Oh, Chong Prabhu, you're here. Hare Krishna. Kesavan, can you recall aham sarvasya prabhavo? Where we read that? Are you there? Okay, I think it's not there. I think it's just listening. Yes, Kesavan, yes. Speak up.
Can you repeat back, bro?
Where we studied aham sarvasya prabhavo. Where is it? Can you recall? The Chatusloki. Do you remember Chatusloki? Are you there, Kesavan? Huh? I can't hear you. Hare Krishna, yes. My line breaking, Prabhu. Oh, okay. Okay, do you remember where we read this aham sarvasya prabhavo?
Chapter 10, 10, bro. Chapter 10.
Yes, 10. Yes, correct. Verse? You remember the verse?
Oh, Okay, 10.9, 10.8 until
10.8. Fantastic, fantastic, Kesavan. I'm so happy for you. 10.8. And what verse is this? What do you call these verses?
Chaturshloki.
Very good. Fantastic. Chatusloki. The Chatusloki, the four core sloka. The first is 10.8, 10.9, 10.10, and 10.11. The four verses. All right. The first verse is says, Aham Sarvasya Prabhavo. I am the origin of everything. Krishna says that. Okay. I hope you all remember that. And now, of course, please mark that verse 10.8, 10.9, 10.10, 10.11. Very important. All right. Because this is the verse that give you conviction. When you want to be convinced, so like for instance, when somebody wants to give you, all right, when they want to give you some kind of vaku kudukradhu, or they want to give you some promise, right? Say suddenly you meet a politician, okay, and they said, okay, I will grant you your wish. You want the land, I'll give it to you. So you just don't take it for granted. So you want to just say, okay, then after that you'll be looking at him, but he says, never mind, don't worry, I will write and give it to you. So when he writes and give it to you, it's a conviction. So later you can go and say, if you don't keep the promise, you can go and ask him, where was your promise? See, you have written, you have given me a written promise, right? You see, you have written and you have signed it. So similarly, Krishna also said it and it's documented and it's mentioned in Bhagavad Gita 10.8. And in 10.8, when one day Krishna doesn't, you can go and ask Krishna, where is your promise, Krishna? All right. What is the first 10.8? Aham Sarvasya Prabhu, everything is coming from me. And 10.9, all my pure devotees take so much of pleasure talking about it. And 10.9, 8, 9, 10, 10.10, what Krishna says, right? So everybody's taking pleasure talking about it. First is, I'm source of everything. My pure devotee take pleasure talking about it. And 10.10 is, oh my God, my memory is getting weaker. 10.10, Krishna says, so the always dwell in me. Okay, 10.11, the most important part, I will come and light up. I'll bring I'll with the torch of knowledge, I remove the darkness born out of ignorance to show them special mercy, right? So now let's look at 10.8. Krishna says, Am Sarvasya Prabhu. What it says, I am the origin of everything. Therefore, to get out of this entanglement, once you want to get out of this entanglement of the strong banyan tree of material life, if you want to get out of this entanglement means what in Tamil we call sickle. When you take when you take 3 or 4, what do you call? Just think like this. You take 2 or 3 cotton, what do you call, thread. You take the thread and you try to mix it. All will become entangled. Sikiko. So you try to remove it, it's not possible. It's not possible to remove all that entanglement, right? When the thread is all twisted. So the same thing. But we have been twisted, that means we have been entangled here for time immemorial. How is it possible? It's not possible by our own effort. Sure, Prabhu. Chang Prabhu, no problem. So we have to get rid of all this. Okay. So that means, therefore, to get out of this entanglement of the strong banyan tree of material life, okay, if you want to get out of this entanglement, Krishna says, one must surrender to Krishna. You have to surrender to Krishna. As soon as one surrenders to Krishna, that means the moment you raise your hand and say, Krishna, I'm yours, the moment that you have surrendered to Krishna, at that moment, as soon as, right, one surrenders to Krishna, one becomes detached automatic. The detachment automatically, even that you believe it or not, your detachment is already started from this material extension. Okay. So detachment from material world, attachment to spiritual world. Okay. So it's 9:57. Do you think, shall we take a short break? Kesavan and Mataji, shall we take a short break? So we take a short break, just 2 minutes, and we continue. Okay. ELT. Okay, Hare Krishna. Let's continue. So now, let's look at this understanding of this, what they call understanding the source. Okay, so like for instance, yet one has to find out the cause. Okay, I am the son of my father is son of such and such person, etc. By searching in this way, one becomes to Brahma, who is generated by Garbho Dakshai Vishnu. Okay, Garbho Dakshai Vishnu, the one lies under the Garbha ocean from the navel Brahma. So we look for Brahma, then finally we come to Garbho Dakshai Vishnu. Yes. So finally, in this way, when one reaches to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, that is the end of research work. The end of research work, once we found Krishna, one has to search out the origin of this tree. Okay, one has to search out the origin of the tree, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, through the association of person who is in knowledge. That's why what we have studied in chapter 3, right? You have to approach a spiritual master. Okay, you have to serve him. By serving a spiritual master, he can impart the knowledge unto you. So that's it. So by the association of person who is knowledge of that Supreme Personality of Godhead, like spiritual master, then by understanding, one becomes gradually detached. So the detachment doesn't happen overnight. Even though there's just like for instance, okay, example, I give you an example. The fan is running. So once I switch off the fan, all right, switch off the electricity, I off the thing, the fan will keep running. All right. So the electricity stopped, but the inertia is working. Similarly, the momentum or inertia. So similarly, once we have been already detached, but to come to that understanding, it will take a gradual process. All right. So therefore, surrender to Krishna is very important. All right. So once become gradually detached, step by step, from this false reflection. Okay, the reflection which is false of reality, the false reflection of reality. Okay, and by knowledge, and through that knowledge, one can cut off the connection and actually become situated in the real tree. Example, now when you look at this family tree, so this is me and this is my wife and this is my father. Okay, this is my father's side, this is my wife's side. We have been going, my mother, my grandfather, all look, search. We come to the level of Brahma. So while we are in this tree, when you look at this tree upside down, so in all the trees and all these twigs and all these are different varieties of living entities. We have passed through from one branch to another branch in all varieties of 8.4 million species. Then after that, we come to that understanding. We start to take up the Vedas. The leaves are the Vedic literatures, the hymns. So we start, we search until we come to the Brahma. Yes, Brahma is our forefather. Then after that, we search further, we come to Garbho Dakshai Vishnu. We search further from Garbho Dakshai Vishnu, then we find Karna Dakshai Vishnu. From Karna Dakshai Vishnu, we search further. Ultimately, we come to that, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Sri, Radha, and Krishna. All right? So like that. So we have to come out. So that means once we come and find this, the reality, that means this is the end of our research work. So that means once you have already come to that end, actually, if you really think about it, you have already come to the end because you already found out who is the Supreme Personality and what are the things that you have studied in Bhagavad Gita. So once we have already done our research work, so what is next now? All right. One has to search the origin of this tree. So that also we found out already. And now we have to associate with person in knowledge. So now it's a time for you to look for a guru. All right. So to look for a guru, so you can understand the things further. Okay. Then through that understanding, one becomes gradually detached. So that means you're more convinced with so much of conviction from this false reflection. That means I see that everything that reflects around me, everything around me is the false reflection of the reality. I think all these are real, but actually it's not real. All right. And through that knowledge, what we can do, we can cut off the connection. That means we understand, we cut down all the connection from all this entanglement of these twigs and branches and everything. So we become situated in the real tree. So that means we are on the way back home, back to Godhead. So Brahma, okay. So when you look at 15.7, Mamai Vangsho Jiva Loke, Jiva Bhuta Sanatana, Manashasthanindriyani, Prakriti Sthani Karshati. Okay. So in this verse, what Krishna says. So Mamai Vamsha. Mama means mine. Okay. Then Eva, certainly Angsha. Angsha means Angsha. Angsha means fragmental particle. Fragmental, that means just a small fragmental particle. All right. Urtuli. All right. Jiva Loke. What is Jiva Loke means? In the world of conditioned life. All right, in this world, Jiva Loke means is a place where this all we are conditioned. Then Jiva Bhuta means the conditioned living entity. That means Jiva Loke means the conditioned world. Jiva Bhuta means the conditioned living entity. Sanatana means eternal. Mana, Sastandriyani. So what's mana means? Mana means mind, manasi, right? Sastani, Sasta means six. Indriyani, Indriyangal. Indriyangal means our senses. So all these are senses, all right? Prakriti, we have understood, okay? We have spoke about it many times. Prakriti means material nature. Stani, situated. Karshati, struggling heart. So what it says here, the living entities in this conditioned world, that means the living entity in this conditioned world are my eternal fragmental part. So that means the living entity in this conditioned world, we are actually the part, a fragmental part, just like the sea and the drop of ocean. So the ocean and the drop of sea water, or the fire and the spark. The fragmental part of the fire is the spark. So that's why Krishna says here, the living entities, that means you and I, who is conditioned, we are living in this conditioned world, is eternal fragmental part, eternal. All right. Due to conditioned life, because of this conditioning, they are struggling very hard. They are struggling with what? With the six senses, which includes the mind. The six senses. That means we have that five senses here: tongue, touch, nose, ears, and this thing. All these things are referred to horse, the five horses. And these horses is not like an ordinary horse. It's like a stallion. The horse, sometimes when it runs out of control, it's very hard to control, right? They never put it as into another thing because the horse are wild. It's very hard to control. So how? And who controls the horse? The rind. You know the rind? It's the mind. The mind that controls the horse. The mind says, go, the horse will run here. The eyes, okay, I want to see something very beautiful. The horse, this one run, one say, I want to listen to something beautiful. Okay, I want to go to the concert. So the eyes want to see all the lights. The ears want to see, listen to the music. The nose want to smell the environment, you know, with all the this thing. And the hand, I want to touch. I want to touch the thing, you know, I want to go there and feel. And the tongue, I want to sing along. So when all these things, all the five indriyas, the horse start run in a hitta way, the mind will follow. But the one that controls all these are the buddhi, the higher intelligence. And the atman, the consciousness, is just helplessly watching. So we must always remember that. So that's why first, when you want to control the indriyas, you must first subdue your mind. Right? I got a strong taste for meat. I got a strong taste for sex, touch. I got a strong sense. I got a nose. I got ears. I want to see, you know, all the beautiful things I want to enjoy in my life. So who controls? The mind controls. So once the mind is purified, all the five indriyas will automatically become purified. So the tongue will say, the mind is purified. The tongue says, I would really like to take prasadam. The hand says, the touch says, I just want to touch Krishna and I want to decorate Krishna. I want to make some flower garlands. The nose, I want to smell the offer, the fragrance, all right, the udupati, agarpati, and also the flowers. And I want to hear Krishna Katha. And eyes, I want to see Krishna Leela. I want to read. I want to look, utilize my eyes to engage in this thing. So the mind. So first, the mind has to be purified. But the purification of the mind, who controls the mind? Is the buddhi. So the buddhi means we have to read. So we have to make our intelligence, we have to make the intelligence very sharp. That's why I'm saying reading Bhagavad Gita purifies the intelligence. Chanting Hare Krishna purifies the mind. When these two are purified, the senses become very pacified. All right. So 8.9. Sri Bhagavan Vacha Shariram Yap Avapnoti Yachapya Chapyu Pramatishvara Gritvaitani Sanyati Vayur Gandan Ivashayat Stotram Chakshus Prashanam Cha Rasanam Granam Evacha Adistaya Manaschayam Vishayan Upasevate. The living entity in this material carries his different conception of life. Okay. So all the living entities, they are all carrying all the living entities in this material world. What they do? They carry different conception of life. Right? Even in our human body also, even in a human being, you and I have a different conception. Your belief system and my belief system is totally different. All right? So similarly, all the living entities, varieties of living entities, just name it, dogs, cats, and everything, they all have a different conception of life. Okay? And this different conception varies from body to another. So now I've taken a human body, all right, a man body. My conception is different. I feel that men are superior. All right, men are superior. Men are great. All right, there's nothing that beyond men. Being born as a man, I'm so fortunate. And next birth, I born as a woman. Alamak. So once I born as a woman, then I go and fight for women right. Women are greater. Women can deliver children. Women are powerful. Women are Shakti. So men are useless. So different conception of life. So once I take a body of a man, I got a thinking of a man. Once I take a body of a woman, I got a thinking of a woman. And suddenly I born as a Malay, I start to say that we are the best race in the world. Then I born as an Indian, I find that Indian race is the best in the world. Once I born as a Chinese, I born as a Chinese, the best race in the world. So all the conceptions are keep changing according to the body, different conception. I hope you understand that. All right. So just example what Krishna says, as the air carries the aroma. Okay. The air carries the aroma. Say for instance, when the wind blows through a rose garden, it carries the fragrance. When I'm near the rose plant, I see the fragrance so nice. But as it goes further, maybe there's some dog stool or cat stool, and that aroma will mix with the aroma of the stool, and the person who smells in a different idea. Oh, smell, oh, yuck. The smell good and the smell nasty. Then it goes further, until one moment, the smell dissipates. Just like that's why Krishna says, as the air carries the aroma. All right? How the air carries, that means when we are near, we can have a nice smell, nice fragrance, but as guests go further, it mixes with all the other modes. Okay? Like that. So, but the aroma is being carried, but the aroma is being tainted by as it travels. Okay. Thus, it takes, so like that, it takes one kind of body and again quits, then take another one. So like that, first it takes this one kind of body, and then after that, give up this material body, then it going to accept another body. Then like that, it goes on accepting a different kind of body. It reminds me about a story about Subhash Chandra Bose met Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. So when he went and met Subhash Chandra Bose, the Indian national fighter, the freedom fighter, asked asked Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada, the guru of our Srila Prabhupada, went and asked, he said, you got too many young men with you. Give it to us because we want to liberate India. So Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur said, well, why you think, no, India has to be liberated? Okay, now you're fighting against the British, right or not? So now you as an Indian, you are thinking about liberating India. But you give up this body and next birth you become a British. What do? You want to retain your empire. You don't want to liberate India. You want to keep it. So all these things are different kind of body thinking. Once we take different kind of birth. So I just remember that I was listening to that one lecture about Subhash Chandra Bose meeting Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada. The same thing when also our Prabhupada went and asked when he first met his spiritual masters, the same thing he asked. India has to be liberated first. Then Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada says the India has to be liberated. That's secondary. First of all, you have to be liberated from this repeated birth and death. That is the real freedom. The real freedom is as long as you live in this material world, in any kind, whether you're in British Empire, you're in Indian Empire, whatever it is, you still have to go through suffering, birth, death, old age, and disease. Sometimes we find Malaysia is not a conducive country. I like to migrate to other country. But you go to other country, you still can escape from falling sick? Can you still escape from getting old? Can you still escape from not dying? It doesn't. It happens. It happens everywhere in this material up to Brahma. Even you go to Brahma Loka, you have to die along. When Brahma dies, everything dies. Right? So in this 14 planetary system, there's no way you can be happy. Right? So like that. So once take another body, then quits another, you go on taking different kinds of body. So Prabhupada said, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada told our Prabhupada, Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada, it said, the real freedom is when you come out of this body and go back home, back to God. Because this whole material expansion, it is a prison house. All right. So the living entity just takes another place. So the living entity taking another gross body, what he obtains? He obtains certain types of ears, eyes, tongues, and nose, and sense of touch. Okay. So now I'm a human being. So now I give up this body, and the next birth I'll born as a dog. So once I born as a dog, I got a certain type of ear. I got a protruding ear. Now I got a different kind of eyes. My tongue is different. My tongue will be even longer. I taste everything, and my nose is even more sharper, and the sense of touch is totally different. Right? So like that, when we go on taking up these different kinds of body, the gross body, we experience different types of senses. But all these things are what Krishna says, grouped about the mind. So everything is kept in your mind, because your mind, intelligent and false ego, it's your subtle body. Okay, the subtle body, once you have taken a form of a dog, the mind will adjust accordingly. Once I take the form of a deva, the thing will change accordingly. Once I born as a beggar, my mind will change accordingly. Once I born as a king, my mind will start to create something different. All things grouped about the mind is in the mind. All right. So through that, he does enjoy a particular set of sense objects. That means like that, he enjoys a particular set of sense objects. Okay. Now, so in other words, if the living entity adulterates means he spoils his consciousness with the quality of cats and dogs. In his next life, he gets the cat and dog body and enjoy. Bhagavad Gita 15.9 purport. Say, for instance, I love to eat meat only. I'll take a form of a tiger. I'm a strong meatarian. No, sometimes we eat everything like foodies, right? Now you see the foodies. In Facebook, all you see all the first travel everywhere just to eat. So next birth, he'll take as a body of a pig. And then you see the actresses, the actresses and all like to show their body, skimpy dress. They try to be as sexy as they can. Even the nudist, the one, the strip for the magazine and all these people, they say, since you like to show your body, you said, no, it's okay, next birth you're born as a tree. Stay naked forever. All right? So like that. And those who love to sleep and everything, he will take a form of a bear. All right? The bear loves to sleep. 12 and 13. Yat aditya gatam tejo jagat basayate kilam yat chandramasi yat chaknau tat tejo vidhi mamakam gam avishya cha bhutani darayamyaham ojasa pushnami chaushadi sarva somo bhutva rasatmaka. The splendor of the sun which dissipates the darkness. Okay, when the sun rises, the darkness, everything disappears of this whole world comes from me, Krishna says. I am the one. And the splendor of the moon at night and the splendor of the fire are also from me. Okay, the splendor, everything, the splendor is come from me. I enter into each planet. Krishna says, I enter into each planet, and by my energy, they stay in orbit. So he enters into each planet, and all those things stays in the orbit, not flown away. Right? I become the moon and thereby supply the juice of life for all vegetables. 15:14, Krishna continues, Aham Vaishvanaro Bhutva Praninam Deham Ashrita Prana Pana Samayukta Pachamyanam Chaturvidam. I am the fire of digestion. So all the food that digests in your stomach, Krishna says, I am the fire of digestion. So then you understand that when we eat something, whatever get digested is Krishna in the bodies of all living entities. Living all entities means everything, even dogs and cats, everything they had a digesting power, the fire. And Krishna says, I am the one. And I join with the air of life, outgoing and incoming. All right, the breathing. Okay, he joined with the air of life, outgoing, to digest the 4 kinds of food stuff. And 15:15, Krishna says, Sarvasva, Sarvasya Chaham Hridi Sani Vishto, Matta Smriti Jnanam Apohanam Cha, Vedescha Sarver Aham Eva Vedyo, Vedanta Krit Veda Vid Eva Chaham. I am seated in everyone's heart, Krishna says. And from me comes remembrance. So all the remembrance that you're getting and all the forgetfulness, everything's from Krishna. And knowledge and forgetfulness. So now that's why we pray to Krishna. So Krishna is coming. So we want to get knowledge. We also have to worship, pray to Krishna. Please give me that. All right. So from me comes remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness. By all the Vedas, okay, by all the Vedas, I am to be known. Okay, Vedascha Sarver Aham Eva Vedyo. I have to be known. Indeed, Vedanta Krit Veda Vid Eva Chaham. I am the compiler of the Vedanta and I am the knower of the Vedas. So that means Krishna is the one compiler. What do you mean by that? Krishna came in the form of Vyasadev, okay, Bhagavan Vyasadev, and he is the one who compiled the Vedas and he is the knower of the Vedas. So when he knows the Vedas, he is the compiler of the Vedas. So in Bhagavad Gita, he gives the most renowned summary knowledge. So we have no doubt about it. So since Krishna is the compiler of the Vedas, and Krishna has given the understanding of the Vedas, and he knows the Vedas, so that's why he summarized, and he only give you the juice, rasam. All right. When you take a mango, You eat it. All right, there'll be a pulp in, or there'll be a skin, and there'll be a what they call a seed inside. So what do? You take it, you cut it nicely, you grind it, and you drink it as rasam. You drink it as juice. So what is that? The juice is so tasty. It's so relishable. So what Krishna did, he took the entire Vedas, he grind it, and he's giving us as a juice in the form of Bhagavad Gita. So we take Bhagavad Gita with full faith. In 18, Krishna said, Yasmat Sharam Atitoham Aksharat Apichottama Atosmi Loke Vedecha Pratita Purushottama. Because I am transcendental, beyond both the fallible and infallible. Okay, I am transcendental means I am spiritual, beyond fallible and infallible. And because I am the greatest, Atosmi Loke Vedecha, I am celebrated both in the world and in the Vedas. Atosmi Loke Vedecha. That means Loke, Atosmi Loke. That means in the world and also in the Vedas, I am celebrated as Pratita Purushottama. That means I'm celebrating the world and the Vedas as the supreme person. So Krishna himself is declaring himself. So I am glorified as the supreme personality, Purushottama. In 19, Yo mam eva asamuddo janati purushottamam sa sarva vid bhajati mam sarva bhavena bharata. So Purushottama means the supreme personality. So whoever knows me as the supreme, Yo mam eva asamuddo janati purushottamam. That means whoever knows me as the supreme personality of Godhead without doubting. All right? Without doubting. Okay? That means asammuda. Asammuda means without doubt. All right? So supreme without doubting is the knower of everything. Sa sarva vid bhajati mam. So he is considered knows everything. He therefore engage himself in full devotional service to me. So sarvas with bhajati. Bhajati means engage in worship or service. All right? And sarva bhavena bharata. So bhavena, what is bhavena means? Sarva bhavena means all in all respect. So whoever knows me as the supreme personality of Godhead without doubting is the knower of all everything. He therefore engage himself in full devotional service to me, O son of Bharata. Please mark this 15.19. It's a very important verse. So when people say, did Krishna actually says, why you only pray to Krishna? Because that's what Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita. I am not speculating. I am not simply saying, I'm not worshipping out of sentiment. It is not my grandmother or grandfather told me these fairy tales. It's not my family tradition. It is mentioned in the Shastra, it's in the Vedas. And who said it? Krishna himself. That's why Krishna says before that, that why he says that I am seated in everyone's heart. All right. I am the compiler of the Vedas, because that now Krishna is establishing. I am the compiler of the Vedas and I know everything about the Vedas. So he's trying to show him, he's trying to establish himself that he is in everyone's heart and he gives remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness. And by all the Vedas, Yirik, Yajur, Sama, Atharva, right? And after that, all the Upanishad, Itigasas, Agamyas, everything I have to be known. Krishna said. And of course, then after that, he says, because, and another thing, I am also the compiler of the Vedanta. I compiled it. And I am the knower of the Vedas. So that means he established himself as the knower of everything. So in certain Vedas says, no, somebody else is supreme. No, it's wrong. Because Krishna says, I know everything. I am the compiler. And with that, he says, after that, that's why he says, but whoever knows me, if you know him, if you understand, Yo mam eva asammuddha, without doubt, Janati Purushottama, whoever knows me as the supreme personality of Godhead, Purushottama, what? Without doubting, asammuddho, without doubting, he is considered the knower of everything. So when you accept Krishna as a supreme personality, you have known and you have known, you have come to the conclusion, Sarva Sat, Sarva with Bhajati Ma. He therefore engage himself, Sarva with Bhajati, engage himself in full devotional service. Sarva Bhavena Bharata. All right. So here Krishna establishing that he is the supreme original personality of Godhead. And after that, it continues. Iti guhya tamang shastram idam uktva maya naga etad budva buddhiman shat krita krityascha bharata. You see, this is the most confidential part of the Vedic scripture. So that means what we have understood. That means Krishna is the supreme, he is the compiler, he is the thing, he gave everything. It is the most confidential part of the Vedic scripture. So it is hidden somewhere in the Vedic scripture. Only by the mercy of Krishna you can find it. when you go and study the Rig Veda, Yajur Veda, Sama Veda, other Veda, then you can see a lot of scholars are studying and scrutinizing, study all these 4 Vedas. And Upanishad, like Kena Upanishad, Ishopanishad, and what they call Markandeya, all kind of Upanishad, 108 kinds. But still they cannot come to this understanding because this is the most confidential part of the Vedic scripture. And Krishna revealing it. And oh, sinless one. And Krishna says, it is disclosed now. Now I'm revealing it to you by me. Who is me? The compiler of the Vedas, the understander of the Vedas, and all the Vedas I should be known. I am disclosing it to you now. I'm telling you now. Now Krishna says, and it's very interesting. Etat buddhva buddhiman shat. Okay. Etva buddhi. Okay. Eta buddhva buddhiman. Whoever understand, buddhiman, become very intelligent. Whoever understand will become wise. Buddhiman. In Tamil also we call buddhiman, right? They are buddhiman. Buddhiman, right? Very intelligent fellow. So whoever understand this will become buddhiman, wise. And after that, krita krityascha bharata. And his endeavor will know perfection. All your endeavor will become perfect. Okay. So all these things are mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam. So as I said, please take this formula. This is only 20 beautiful verses in this chapter. Yoga, the Supreme Person. So I hope that you go back and read back or your 20, chapter 15. So please take the commitment, read Bhagavad Gita daily, distribute Bhagavad Gita. As we said, you have to install Bhagavad Gita in everyone's heart and chant Hare Krishna. 16 rounds, you start to see perfection. All right. With that, we end the session here. Is there any questions or any comment? I hope you all understand what I've said. I hope I'm not fast. Okay. All of you okay? Okay. So we continue our chapter 16 tonight at 8 p.m. Okay, 8 p.m. because my daughter got a tuition, 7 o'clock. By the time I'll be back, by 8 o'clock we start, 8 to, because chapter 16 is going to be, as I said, I shouldn't say more interesting because everything is interesting. Because just like laddu, you take the laddu, you bite in any part of the place, is still very sweet. So we're going to do chapter 16 tonight. So the chapter 16 is going to be the divine and the demonic nature. How to define what is divine and what is demoniac is a discussion going to be tonight, right? At 8 p.m. So tomorrow morning is Ekadasi. On Ekadasi day is very auspicious to study Bhagavad Gita. We do 17 in the morning and ultimately 18 in the evening. Okay, tomorrow is Vaikuntha Ekadasi. On this Ekadasi, when we study Bhagavad Gita, right? And somehow it's very fortunate we are going to study about the 2 most important chapters, the division of faith and also the conclusion of Bhagavad Gita, where Krishna reveals everything, right? So with that, thank you so much for your time. We'll meet again tonight. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripasindhubhyavacha paditanam pavinibhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Have a nice day. Hare Bol.